Are there any adjustments or revisions to the agenda? Looks like Simplify Counseling will not be present today.
He's gonna have to reschedule.
Okay, we will remove them from the new business section. Any other just additions or changes?
So.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept the, changes to the agenda.
I would second. All in favor?
All right.
All right. And then the meeting minutes, have you guys had a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Yes.
We have a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes.
I would second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion passed. All right, just a few opening comments, I guess. I think we're in a red flag warning today. We're gonna have some moisture potentially throughout the week, but they said that last week. And we didn't get any, so. We also understand that. Tom's gonna be bringing a resolution to us. This meeting with potential fire ban, and then, there's probably some questions about ditch burning and stuff like that, and how we're gonna handle that kind of thing, because that's still gonna have to happen. All right, here,
Nope.
All right. Clerk Court. You're up. And how are you?
How are you?
Good.
This past this morning, all I have to report, my earnings this month were $5,761.55.
Okay. Good news, bad news?
Everything's going good.
Oh, that's good. All right. Sounds good. Aaron, got any questions for him?
No. I'll make a motion, we accept the, first court report.
Add second. On favor?
All right.
Aye. Which passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Grant writer. Where, or that can be better hurry. I'm gonna have this thing done before.
We're getting on there, yeah.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So in March, we've been accepted for the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant through the US DOT. This is for a safety action plan on all roads across the jurisdiction for Goshen County. Through Road and Bridge, the project total is 200,000 and we were awarded 160 with a 20% match that we need to bring. For the 20% match, I did apply for the governor's matching funds through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that they had funding for, and we were awarded the full 40,000. So our county does not have to provide a local match for that one. Other than that, on the grant management side of things, our bid documents for the congestion mitigation air quality grant are at YDOT for review. Once we get those back, we'll post them, or Bob's office will post them. And then the high risk rural road program, we are also waiting for YDOT for a notice to proceed on that as well. We've got the grant agreement, but they have to do some things on their end first. For the 2 library grants, we ordered the computer desk and a room divider for that came up in their community survey. And so those are coming and those will be closed out here soon. So we've expended all of our funds for those. So that's good. And then the state and local cybersecurity grant, we submitted and received our first reimbursement for that for equipment for our backup data center. Other than that, just regular meetings. And then I'm sure Tom will talk more on this, but I helped out with lunchtime learning hours for IT, just to go over some Microsoft 365 things with our employees, and it was a good turnout. People were able to come and ask questions. That's good.
Thank you for helping with that.
Absolutely. Pretty laid back, not an IT person. I have. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Can you hear us?
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Did I miss the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, we're halfway through the meeting, Chairman.
Yeah, and at the pace that you're gonna keep, it probably won't take long, so I'll be quiet and let you do your business.
All right, yeah, we're at the grant writer report, and she just finished that, so. All right,
Any questions?
any questions for Hannah? Chairman, do you have any questions for Hannah? I know you didn't hear her report, but.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not have any questions, thank you.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the grant writers report.
Got a motion from Aaron?
I will second that.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Yeah, I guess it.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you just saying aye for the last 2 years.
Exactly.
From the bridge.
Part of the routine now, huh?
Who gets to start?
No, I mean,
I think you.
will pick me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Couple of things today. The biggest, most glaring thing obviously is gonna be the river conditions. I did not think that we could dry out any more than we did, but we have. People are starting to get frustrated. We did cut some roads last couple of weeks. Some of them held, some of them did not. So now we're out patching holes, trying to get things done. I'd love to tell everybody that there's a good solution to this, but really the only solution is Mother Nature helping us out with things. And I don't know. I'm at a loss right now. I don't want to cut any more roads. But I know that people are frustrated that we're going, hitting the tops of the washboards and kind of filling stuff in, because it's only lasts a couple of days.
Yeah.
If I could ask, I would have everybody slow down by, 15 or 20 miles an hour on the dirt roads. They'll last a lot longer if we do. But I know that nobody really wants to do that. They just like to go and get it done. I do not have a good solution. We are putting some water down on some of the roads, but obviously to hook the tanker, fill water and haul to the far south end of the county and far north of the county is cost prohibitive. We just do not have the funds to be able to do that or the time. I mean, I gotta pull guys out of the blade to run the trucks. So, I hope it rains. But I talked to a guy this morning, I don't even know what that looks like, so. That's where we're at on that. We are doing absolutely the best we can. But I think at this point, instead of trying to get roads healed up, because the top goes out of them, we're probably just gonna end up the tops of the washboards off and filling it in and trying to stay on top of it as best we can. But I know that there's some out there that are pretty rough right now. And I'm getting calls on roads that we were on 10 days ago. That they're saying, the road's rough again. I just don't have a good answer. Second thing is the county maintenance program. We're ready to rock and roll on that. So whenever the department heads are ready to send some vehicles our way for servicing, we can do that.
Do you have a way of scheduling those or?
What I'd like is for everybody to at least give us a couple of days heads up, just kind of stay on top of where they're at on their oil changes and things like that. It's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult for us to get a call that says, hey, I got 2 hours. You can get it in. I'd like to have a couple of days heads up so that we can schedule, and yes, we do have. We have sat down and figured out how we're going to schedule it so that Darren knows he's gonna get a list of what's gonna be coming in. And then Val knows exactly who's coming, when they're coming, and things like that, so we don't. So that I don't send, two mechanics out to work on a blade or something like that, well, at least we'll have somebody there to be able to take care of the scheduling that we have.
Would your suggestion be a letter from us, go to the department heads to explain to them?
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
That would be super if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Okay.
We can do that from the road and bridge office too, but it would probably be better from you guys. Okay.
Well, I'm Mary. Send an email. Thank you, Mary.
Other than that, I don't. Our biggest concern right now is the dryness in the roads.
You heard anything back from Roadrunner on road drags?
No, they just, every time I talk to them, they say, keep calling, because they still are,
They're still backed up.
yep, they're still backed up.
Would that be, right now in this situation, would that be the answer to this problem? Is just get across, knock some tops off, the corrugations off the roads?
Good, until we get one, Aaron, and I know how deep they cut. I don't know, they're certainly gonna be lighter. But I don't know whether, and that could be a good thing, and it could be a bad thing, because I've thought about it. But we're right now at a point, some of the roads are so dry. We're wearing out cutting edges, and I mean, the guys are really having to lean on the blades to get this done. They're hard, and they are super, super dry, which is, and I understand, it's frustrating to the public as well, because they do know that it's super dry and hard, and they can see what the guys are doing. And it would just seem like, why would the roads open up? But really, that cap's only a couple inches thick. And when they lean on it the way that they have had to, it weakens it. And gosh, anything that's soft in there underneath, it just puddles. And then we're out there filling stuff in. We've got to run water out to it, try and get them packed in so that they'll start to heal. I don't know that the Roadrunner might be the answer, but it also, we may pull it over the top of it and it may just bounce along that too, where it doesn't have the weight of the machines. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
All right. Bob?
What Chris said. It really is. It's true that, it's nice that if we could go out in water. But for one thing, it takes quite a lot of water to do that. And that is, yeah, it does, it doesn't go very far. It really doesn't. And it's nice if it's close to town or reasonable vicinity so that we can do that without making so many trips. But if you're clear to north end or south end of county, it's just not practical to do that. And I think the only good news thing I have to say is that in that regard, I've seen them worse. I have seen the roads heck of a lot worse than that. Now, I think that we had them in better shape last fall. And they're holding up better. I've seen them a hell of a lot worse than they are now. And all the rural road driving that I've done. But we're, I don't know. And the Roadrunner thing is good. I think that Chris is right. I don't know right now whether they're not very heavy. And I think that if the road conditions were good and we had good moisture and good material, they could end up saving us a heck of a lot of time and money. Maintenance. But you're getting into a quasi reconstruction process now with the dryness and the ruts or the corrugations as bad as they are. And man, it's tough. We talked about the teeth. They make blades with the special teeth in them and stuff, and they're using those a lot of places. I was down in Laramie County this weekend, and they're using the heck out of those down there. But the problem is with them, they did a lot of some kind of base stabilization materials on some of those. And boy, I'll tell you what, that's someplace where You have to be a little careful. They're having a lot of trouble. They have a lot more oil activity than we do. But you can tell where they use those, because that's what shows us the cuts that those teeth are making on the blades. And I don't, they're no better off than us if they have more money. And
We did order 3 sets of aerated cutting edges. Just to try it.
Good.
Just.
Yep.
not automatically the answer, but.
Right, and I don't know if it'll work or not, but that's one thing that we are gonna try. We'll put serrated edges on 3 of the machines and see if it helps any.
I think that's about all I had to say, guys.
Commissioner Burkhart, can I make a comment on Bob's behalf?
Absolutely.
So when he says that he's seen these roads in worse conditions, don't forget, he dealt with wagon ruts and that type of thing. I mean, I think it's a relative thing that, sorry, Bob, even from a distance, I couldn't pass that one up. Hey, I think,
I know. It is.
sir, the only answer is for everybody to pray for rain, and I'll tell you, we need it for absolutely everything in the county. It is the roads, the crops, I mean, go down the list. But I see there's a forecast maybe for some moisture first part of the week, but unfortunately, it seems like we go from a forecast of moisture to additional wind, and that those are elements that we don't control, and we absolutely can't. You can't compete with them.
Very good.
All right.
Well, planning office, there's a lot going on. There's just been organizing, filing, and starting to set up, I guess, just procedures for the office to be run efficiently. Having to put together some permitting applications that are gonna align with the newly amended regulations. There wasn't any, I don't believe. And we're gonna discuss the fees and how to submit the fees and applications for certain permits, because right now, I think we're at a point it needs to be reviewed, and I know the planning commission had discussed going over it, and I think that's probably gonna be something to discuss coming up probably this month. So, last month at the planning commission was fairly uneventful. We did not have a quorum. So, I guess we'll just review everything that we were gonna do this last month, this month's meeting. There's 3 subdivisions, 2 of them for their final, 1 for the preliminary. Riverview, DEQ requested a 30-day extension, and I also received information of things that were still missing from their chapter 23, so we'll be in contact with them as well. I've been doing some research on the ADA compliance certification, since the planner also serves as the compliance coordinator for the county, and I found a couple places you can get the certification. But there's really nothing in the office at the moment that I can find for the previous planners on their certification and what they went through. You do know that at some point, the county website, this goes back to the permitting, needs to be kind of looked at. I think there is a link to a portal, and I think it's for the Civics Plus, where you can fill out permitting applications, but then there's absolutely nothing there. There's no fees on there, there's nothing. And in order for me to have found that, I created an actual like citizens account type deal to go through and look at it. I think that's something that's gonna need to be probably removed until we figure out how we're going to go as far as permitting. So. And that's about, the CAFOs, I do have, I'm in the process of creating an application, as I said, that are gonna align with the new regulations or the newer ones. And I did get information from the state as the ones that are coming up and getting ready for renewal. So I've been in contact and I've let them know, getting together the application. Once that's done, I will contact them again, and then we'll set up the time for them to come in and bring the information in. So, I mean, that's where we're at. It's basically ground up. It's rebuilding a lot of processes, which it's okay. Just, it's time.
I do like the idea to be able to get online and do your applications and pay those fees and that online. When do you think you would have a fee schedule for applications ready for review?
I'm hoping in the next month or so. I know that the planning commission has, even when I was on the planning commission before I was moved to this position, it had been discussed, we had reviewed it. There was just some information that was never brought to us that we had asked. So now I'm just gonna go back, dig for those notes, look and just do my own research and bring to the table, let them look at it and see, you know, what might be the most efficient way to do this. I've researched different counties, kind of see how they've done it, like similar in size and stuff to ours. So I think at some point, probably this month, I think it'll probably be on the agenda simply because I think it was gonna be discussed last month. So I'm hoping to have that together for as much information as I can together for them. Their meeting this month. So.
In that part of it, you know, certain other counties, we're different than so many other counties. Going over that list and trying to decide what fits our county is so hard.
Yeah.
because
It is.
It's a lot different than everybody else around, so. But, yeah, we have looked at that board, I think, and this starting over again and reintroducing this is probably gonna be that best approach, I
Yeah.
believe. And I think you're right, just, you know, as you said, from the ground up, or we just grind it up.
Yeah.
And start over.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but I mean.
There's a lot of this stuff that, you know, and you understand now, moving into this position, we were kind of just at a whim, just throwing stuff out there all the time, and now
Yeah.
you understand that we need to have for certain things put in place. You
Yep.
can't just. So it's great that you're going the extra mile for us, putting stuff together and making this more efficient. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
So.
Mr. McNamee, you got any comments?
I do. I have a question for Karna in regards to the Riverview subdivision. So are you in communication with Tom Fieser's engineer on that? I only ask that to make sure that all parties are aware of what is still missing with that application. I know that you inherited, you know, kind of a pile of paperwork and somewhat of a headache on that situation. I just wanted to confirm exactly where we were at with that.
Yes, I am. We've had. Tom came in a couple weeks ago and we contacted Mike Olson, I believe is who his engineer is. And we just kind of sat down, looked at what was missing. And I just recently got a new list from DEQ. And it was sent to Mike Olson as well. And it was forwarded to me from, his name is Braden Hyde, and he's the one that's actually reviewing the application. So I will definitely, you know, follow up on this with Mike Olson. I was going to try and schedule something with Fieser as well, either end of this week or sometime first of next week, if you wanted to do another in-office meeting and call his engineer and kind of sit down and look at it. Because I know at this point, I mean, this is definitely something that needs to be finished up and done, so. I think it's,
Do you have any concerns that DEQ is moving the target on you on that deal? I received a phone call that there was some frustration that maybe we're being handcuffed to a degree because, you know, what we thought was the target with DEQ seems to be moving a little bit. And I guess I would just want your input on that and confirm with you that we don't need to make a call to somebody in that office and try and request some clarity on what it is that they're going to want long-term on those types of applications.
I don't necessarily think that we're being, like, things, what they're requiring is kind of changing. I think that they have somebody in place now that is actually looking at what the state's requirements are. I know that there's been a couple of people that have changed positions, and I think somebody, yeah, I think that, I think the guy, I think Brayden, this is his area, like this is the area he works. So he's being, I think he's being very efficient, thorough, but the efficiency, I think, is not, it's time, I think it's time consuming. So he's got the material, but he's also, if you look at the state statutes and what's in the chapter 23, there's nothing that they're requiring that isn't, it's nothing that wouldn't be asked of somebody else. I don't think it has anything to do with Riverview or the county or anything else. It's just, they're going by the book.
Okay.
We've dealt with them quite a few. We've dealt with them quite a few times, Mike, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. What they're doing and what their requirements are have not changed. And you know, the problem is if you don't submit all of that at the same time in the beginning, then things are difficult to deal with. And I think it's probably the first time that that firm has dealt with this particular situation.
Yeah.
And it's a learning curve for the consultant. So.
Well, I appreciate the improvement in communication, and that was a concern that had been brought to us previously, and really appreciate the fact that you are taking measures to make sure that that portion of it is addressed. As we oftentimes learn when you deal with offices that are outside of Goshen County, sometimes their wheels don't turn as quickly as we'd like to see them turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that was all I had.
I did want to bring up one other thing, because I do think that there was a subdivision that was done. But because we have the 35-acre exemption, it didn't have to go in front of planning commission or the board of commissioners. There are issues. There are ways to maybe address some of these things. The state offers the ability for the county to adopt resolutions so that they can be just reviewed, because for road purposes or anything else, landowner notifications, I think we've had a couple phone calls of people asking, you know, and they are landowners that are seeing surveyors out. So it might be something to think about looking into, just simply because when those things come in, as a county, we don't have any, I mean, there's no input is received from us. So that's just a little something just to maybe think about in the future, to kind of look into.
You know,
Very good.
on that same thing, or, now on your side of things, don't they have to still contact Road and Bridge for approaches?
They do, because they have to do a public works permit. But in that same, if they just go in and file and then call, I'm gonna have to sit down, we're gonna have to look at what we are willing to allow as far as approaches. It'd be nice if there was a way that they did have to at least contact us and let us know that they didn't just use the state's, 35 acre exemption and file for a subdivision that none of us get to look at, because we could have, and lots across the front of that, everybody wants an approach. That is, yeah, now you got 10 landowners in there, they all want their driveway. And we've got operators that have to pick up, go across the top of approach, put down, go another 200 feet, pick up, go across approach. And that's, I mean, can we do it? Sure. Do the guys enjoy doing that? No, they don't. And so if we sit down and at least look at what our regulations say as far as the distance between approaches and things like that, if those developers had to come to us and say, all right, what do we need to do? We can say, okay, you're gonna put an approach in every 600 feet or every 800 feet or whatever it is. And you're going to have to put your access roads in. So those approaches may go into an access road that all of those lots have driveways coming off of, instead of having lots down there that have a driveway approach to each and every one of them.
Some of that is covered in our road street site design standards, but it's not adequate the way it is covered, and we need to update those for starters. And it's not just, the number of approaches or even just the spacing. You gotta look at the topography on the ground. Where's a safe place to put an approach? Where's not a safe place? You also have to look at the topography, the drainage features that come in there. You have to. So not only are they putting an approach in that has to be worked around, but they're putting in drainage features that have to be worked around, and maintenance issues for the culverts and things for the approaches. And the problem now is, as has been stated, is that there's no requirement really for them. There's no requirements, not really or otherwise, for them to come there and first. To review the plat, we've had a couple of contacts which have been somewhat less than cooperative. We asked for, I specifically asked for a preliminary plan. Give me a drawing. What are you really thinking here? What is your plat? And we received nothing. And they now have got the exemption, but they're saying approved supposedly. I'm going to contact those folks about the approaches. Do they realize that just because they penciled it on the paper that it's going to happen? I have to get a permit, but it would be better if we certainly could look at that if there was a requirement to come either before the planning commission or the road and bridge. Either way, it's better if it comes before the planning commission. It's part of the planning process. Those developments are part of it, and we know about Pine Ridge and others, and the problem we have with some of those areas as far as what is expected of the county or what those buyers think they should get from the county. And it's not clearly defined, and it's not well enough discussed and reviewed. The 35 acre, the large acreage subdivision regulations, the state has adopted as part of 18.5, I think it's 316 now. The statute is pretty lengthy and quite extreme, but we do need to look at it. We do need to review that. We have not adopted it. It's an option. It's not a requirement. But maybe there's some things we can do in that part of it and amend it to meet our needs and not hurt anybody's feelings.
I guess we could move forward with putting that on the agenda for the planning commission. We could discuss it there. Yes. Do you agree?
think that's a good idea.
Alright. That it?
One other question for Chris. Chris, you and I had visited about, as spring rolls around, farmers getting back out in the field. Just a gentle reminder, kind of keep in mind where those, not farming into the too deep into the easements on the county roads, kind of remembering if we can keep, good Lord willing, we have some water, that we try and keep those pivots from hitting the county roads if we can. Just a couple of things that you and I kind of visited about, and maybe, again, just as a reminder.
You're right, Mike, and that is something that we need to make sure we talk about. Ironically, if the end guns are hitting the road, right? At least we got a little, we got one got some moisture in it. But yeah, just as a reminder, we do typically on most roads, they're not all exactly the same. The right of way is 33 feet off the center of the road, either direction. And we need to try and keep our farming practices outside of the right of way. We have the right of way for a reason, in case we need it. And a lot of times, especially with the wind that's blowing the way that it has been, we have some real problem areas in the county where we have some dry land ground that's moving across into the neighbors' yards and things like that. So holding that off of there so that, maybe we can get back in there this spring if we do have some moisture and get some grass seed planted back in the right of ways would be fantastic.
Agreed.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the road and bridge report?
I'll make a motion to accept the road and bridge report.
I will second it.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Yes. Mary, you're up next.
Earnings for the month of March in my office was $15,007.40. I have the payroll and payroll liabilities voucher to approve, and then also the warrants that we have received so far up till this morning.
Mr. Mac, I don't know if you've had a chance to look, but we did receive these reports this morning via email.
I did not. Yeah, I had not seen them yet. My apologies.
No, you're fine. There's probably more than. I gotta sign the back one too.
No.
No?
I'll just. We're just expecting a lot after the last meeting.
Right.
Second one. A bunch.
Why?
The only one that I received this morning was the public health report from Heather. So I unfortunately do not have that report in my mailbox. Oh, no, I don't.
What it came from Candace.
No.
I also handed out the commissioner scholarship packets for you guys to look at for the scholarships that you'll get a award at the end of April.
Look forward to looking at those.
Anything else, Barry?
I'm going to Casper this on Wednesday through Friday for the clerk's meeting, taking my election deputy, and feel pretty bad for leaving my office behind because they're kind of strapped right now and really busy, but we have a lot of election things to learn, so we'll be gone Wednesday through Friday.
Mr. McNamee, you got any questions?
I do not.
Aaron?
No,
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the county clerk's report, the warrant reports, the earnings report and the payroll reports.
All right, got a motion?
I will second that.
We got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. I broke my pen. Look at that. I got that.
Oh, you got spares.
All right. Emergency manager.
Sure. Good. So you know what, briefly.
That's good.
Good morning.
More done.
So you guys, I sent the report to you guys last week from the emergency management office. We'll kind of go over it real quick. On the emergency management side, we got the lots of open grants all the way back from 23 that were frozen when Trump took office and slowed things down with FEMA and some of the reimbursements. So our 23 and 24 EMPG, I've got the packages ready to send to our treasurer for our final drawdowns on those two, so we can close those two reports out, two grants. We also are still waiting on the 25 SHSP grant awards. They're still waiting to be signed. So hopefully we'll get those signed and get those things moving on. There's a lot of medical equipment for the sheriff's department and stuff in that those set of awards. We also have the 23 short-term SHSP grant, which is basically leftover money that was released. We put in applications for several items for their courtroom security and for IT, hopefully to help take the burden off of having to move some of that stuff. One of the things worth noting is the 25 SHSP process will follow the prior year's process. When the 25 first came out, they talked about a 1-year performance period, which would have made basically anything we bought from that grant would have to be equipment only. We wouldn't be able to do services or anything that was, required installations and stuff like that. They've since sent out guidance on that. It's going to follow the normal 3-year process. There'll be no issues with that. From the fire warden side, which is where most of our time, we already know Chris has hammered it in about our lack of precipitation this year. Our outlook for the next 60 days is still lower than normal. We had our emergency coordinator conference, our flood summit. This year was really just talking about drought. We really didn't talk too much about flood.
It's ironic you go to a flood summit to talk
about drought. It was a pretty different conference than the other three have been to. So as of right now, we are abnormally dry and in the extreme drought category under the National Weather Service's standings. There's only one other, so one their scale is 0 to 4. We're at 3, so we're only one away from being the driest you can be. Just to give you an idea, we're the 3rd driest year on record in over 136 years. So we're really dry. Our snowpack and snowtail is not very much, not much better up in the mountains. So there's not going to be a lot of melting coming down in the spring. If everybody doesn't know already, we're in a fire ban. A red flag event starting noon today through 8. That's going to be a continuous thing in and out of red flag for probably the foreseeable future. Probably through, hopefully, not the entire summer, but it looks like it probably will be through that. So I've put forth a resolution to go ahead and move our county into a stage 1 fire restriction status. As of right now, everybody from Natrona County east is already under stage 1 fire. We're the only ones that's not on the east side of the state. The west side of the state are starting to enter in about every other week or two. You'll see another county enter on the west side of the state as well. I would just, guess probably within the next 30 days or so, the entire state is gonna be under stage 1 fire restriction. Now, we can go over that one in just a minute if you want to read over it first. So I'll move on to our IT department. Our Microsoft 365 migration, we're through with the majority of the, we've done the Goshen County wild.gov domain, we've done the City of Torrington wild.gov domain. We still have Fort Laramie to do. We just got their domain through the federal government listed as a government entity as of Thursday of last week. So we're doing all the background to move those users over. There's only 9 users, so it's not going to take us 4 hours to do or so. We're just having to coordinate with them to make sure we get that done. Once we do that, it's just going to be little password issues and conflict issues with our old Exchange server that we'll run into over the next 60 days or so before we turn off the Exchange server. Once we turn off the Exchange server, everything should kind of, I hate to say use the word mellow out, but it should start running much more seamlessly after that. We're already kind of started to enter stage 2 with grants. Our stage 2 of our network replacement is our servers and storage. We're already kind of getting into that. We're using grant money to buy a lot of that stuff. Like we talked about it before, just an example of compellents, about $140,000 to $180,000 each. We have quite a few of those we've got to replace, and we're using grant money to leverage that stuff so the county doesn't have to pay for it. Still working on the Tyler deployment. We're still having some issues with that. We really got some traction, I would say last week. Both offices are dedicated to trying to get the system up and running. We're doing a site visit with Converse County next week. The Treasurer's office is to look at their build. Their build is very similar to our build. So we're gonna make a trip up there and kind of just been through. They dedicate an entire day to our Treasurer's department to go up there, Treasurer's office to go up there and kind of see the product in its finished state and knowing where it's at now, where it's going to go to, so that they can kind of understand the transition to it. Clerk's office is going to make a trip there on a different date. Their clerk's office couldn't be the same day, so they're going to go up there and do basically the same thing as well there. So we've been elevated to with the technicians. We have our more senior technician that is helping us now. There was some snafus on their end as well as our end, mostly on their end that held this up. And they've kind of admitted to it. So they're trying to do everything they can to make sure it gets fixed. We started learning lunches. We just did 1 week of that because we realized we probably started a little too early. For some people because they still had like Fort Laramie still hadn't been moved over. And we had some people on the city side that were just getting their 365 and then the learning lunch just kicked in. So we're gonna start those again next week. We'll start over again with Outlook, and then we'll move into OneDrive and some of the other applications that come along with this new program that people need to learn as we move forward. So we'll start those next week, and you guys are invited to come to those if you'd like. So for goals, we're looking at continuing planning for our phase 2, our MRG grant. We've got our first quote for our telephone replacement project, which was what started this whole process. And then once we get about three of those, maybe 4 of those, I'll revisit everyone. We're looking at both on-premise and VoIP cloud service. We have good options to choose from. And then the only other thing we've got, Mr. Commissioner, is the fire ban.
Okay. And on the fire ban is it's resolution 2026-07. This is a standard stage 1 fire restriction ban that we've put in place prior, right? No changes.
No changes.
So in lieu of me reading through this word for word for the 2 pages, it's just our standard stage 1 prior restrictions. We'll make it media and then post it on our website and I'll post that. Mr. McNamee, do you have any questions?
I do not. No, I do not.
Mr. Walsh?
Don't have any questions at the moment. Go ahead and make a motion to approve this board.
Yeah. Do we have a,
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-07 and moving the fire ban into effect.
okay, does that go into effect immediately, Bob? Is that today?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow?
Didn't know about the red flag we would have today when I wrote that last week. Otherwise I've made it immediate, but I made it tomorrow morning at 8, so we'll just stick with that, just understand we're under the fire ban. For everybody who watches the video tonight or tomorrow, or, I don't see Jess here, just remember to, read the fire ban before you, light up your grill and do different things or Granite County. Okay. And to be careful, if you see things, see smoke, give us a call 911. So that we can get to it quickly, because as it gets drier today and the winds start picking up, we have one of those days where it's gonna be a fast moving fire if one does start, so. And then tomorrow morning, these things will go into effect, and I'll get a copy to everybody and post it as well after the meeting.
Okay, we got a motion to approve resolution 2026-07. Do we have a second?
One quick question for Tom before I give a second here. On burning ditches, I know that, our ditch companies will be out. They'll be trying to probably burn these main canals and these laterals and different things. Any advice, Tom, for people that, obviously, we know that a certain degree of that has to be done, but anything you would like to offer to county residents when it comes to controlling and maybe dealing with that in a little different way this year?
Yeah, I think that this year, especially as dry as it is this year, that any of the irrigation districts that are burning, or anybody who's burning outside of the fire restrictions that are put in place, they can coordinate through the fire warden's office. That would be greatly appreciated, so that we're aware of it, and can actually watch the weather and help coordinate what days are decent to burn and what days are not. I'd hate to see, if irrigation district go out and start burning a ditch on a day that we know there's gonna be a red flag later in the day, and maybe they just haven't caught it on media or on the website or anything, and we end up in a situation where we have a running fire. It'd be easier if they at least coordinate that through my office, so that we're aware of what's going on with those irrigation districts and stuff. So, and of course, make sure, anytime you burn, make sure you have some way of putting it out there with you.
And to call dispatch that you're doing a burn.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Commissioner Burkhart, I would second Commissioner Walsh's motion.
Okay, we've got a second. All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Resolution 2026-07 for the stage 1 fire restrictions have passed. Anything else, Tom? You're good? Any questions for Tom?
nope.
General? Got a motion to accept his fire warden, emergency management, and IT reports.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Next, public health.
Morning.
Good.
I emailed you my little report. I don't have a whole lot.
I'm sure for more.
Please for
Perfect.
more support. The one thing I would like to say is this is National Public Health Week. So we would just like to say thank you, because
Oh, wow, look at that.
little stress balls.
Yeah.
Yours is on your desk.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're little stress balls, they say thank you, we appreciate it. Immunizations, flu shots can still be given through June 30th, because that's when they expire. We have not seen a lot of flu cases in Wyoming at all. The RSV vaccine, lots of people have been calling about it, especially if they're over the age of 65. We just want to let everybody know that it cannot be given after March 31st. That's the end of our season. When the public health order stops, so we cannot give out any more RSV vaccines. So we just want to remind everybody that you have to wait till this fall. Unless you're a pregnant woman, and there's all kinds of other stipulations, but for the average person that wants the RSV vaccine, it cannot be given after March 31st of every year. It's just the RSV season. This is National Public Health Week. We can't do our job without all of you guys. And just a reminder that the theme given from the American Public Health Association, which is called APA, is Ready, Set, Action. This theme calls for each of us to look at the progress we've had in the past and to look forward in the steps we need to make for the future for our county, our state, and our country. We have one upcoming event that I would like to talk about that I forgot to put on this paper that you guys should have been invited to by Ryan. It's the preparedness tabletop exercise. If you didn't, I will have him forward that. But Ryan reminded me to invite you guys this morning. Mary, I think you should already be on that as well. This is I want to say it's a new topic, Tom, the administrative plan. But it's a tabletop exercise. It will be in the EOC. It is on April 28th from 8:30 to noon. The preparedness team would just really like your input on the administrative plan. So if you did not get the email, we will forward it on to you.
He did send it.
Okay. We have our senior health expo coming up on May 22nd. It is going to be at the Pony Express Room from 9 to 1. We have normally, this is the third year we've done this. We normally have about 22 vendors. We have up to 30 plus vendors this year, so we're very excited about the outreach we've had from people in our community that want to be a part of this thing for our people. It is not just for people over the age of 65 or 50, whatever you want to call your senior. It's also going to have services for people taking care of their parents or caregivers of people in the community. So we will have Torrington Police Department. Mr. Johnson will be there to talk about fraud. We're going to have Collier Funeral there to talk about planning, the end of life planning, some audiology people, the dentist. So we're going to have a big turnout for vendors this year. So we're kind of excited. So that's going to be May 22nd. It's a Friday from 9 to 1 at the Senior Expo. We've had hot dogs in the past, and this year we're stepping out of our box and we're making pulled pork sandwiches.
Wow.
So we're really stepping out there. So it is no charge for anybody in the public to come. Flyers will come out in the senior newsletter and other stuff. And then we're gonna have Safe Kids Day, which is gonna be August 29th. And that is gonna be at the fairgrounds. That is for everybody from being pregnant to 18 years old. That we do last year. We had the Fight for Life airplane came out, and that was a big hit. And so I hope we can have even more this year. So those are the two big events.
Very good. I'm busy.
We are. And then hopefully National Night Out will be another one that we do, but the city usually does that. It's falling on their coattails.
And the weekly report that they send out for reportable diseases, Goshen County didn't have any reportable disease. That was perfect last week, so.
This has been the first time in months.
Yeah, Niobrara County, of course, rarely has any because they don't have any people, so.
Mr. McNamee, you got any questions?
I do not.
Mr. Walsh?
Nope.
I appreciate your guys's, you're telling us things can't do it, but we're just here to provide a budget. You guys do all the hard work, so we appreciate you guys and all your staff up there and everything they do. Right.
On this preparedness tabletop event, I'm not gonna be there because I make my schedule way sooner than Ryan does, but it does deal with thinking ahead as far as the administrative aspects of dealing with crisis, big or small. So one of you guys were there and nice.
All right, do we have a motion to accept the public health report?
I'll make a motion to accept the public health report.
Okay, got a motion?
I will second it.
We got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion to accept the health report. Next is the maintenance supervisor. Kevin's not here.
Oh, it's not. Oh, can I, sorry.
You good?
We got, Morehouse came in, did, measured the roof, but we have not seen a bid yet. Kevin came up and talked to me yesterday and, he's hoping to have the bid soon, but it looks like a whole new roof, the guys that were up there. So we're still waiting on that bid.
Okay, thank you. Well, without a supervisor report, I think we'll just move on. We've got a 10-minute break scheduled. Does anybody need a 10-minute break? Should we just move on? Okay, so moving to old business, we got the tax conversation, and Mr. McNamee, I believe that was just kind of a further discussion from our work session and maybe where to move from here. We haven't had a discussion about this, but I'm assuming you were just kind of wanting to put that on there for further direction, correct?
Yeah, and I would like to, we had visited with some folks from up at the college. They had a firm come in and give them kind of a needs assessment on what they were going to have, with some repairs and maintenance at the college. So we have reached out to them and are going to try and get some contact information on firms that could possibly come in and do the same thing for the county. I think that workshop that we had was productive in the sense that it gave us some different things to think about, funding streams that we could possibly look into, some different things like that. But I think that it was agreed that we just need to have a better idea of where we're at in general with kind of our overall and probably most immediate needs that we have in the county right now. And so I would like to, as soon as we have some contact information from some of these firms, I would like to reach out and get a bid to see what it would cost to have somebody come in and do a similar type needs assessment for us at the county level.
I'll be meeting with Kevin on those firms. I'm working with Pat Coral and President up there at the college to get that information from them. They've done a lot of work already as far as advertising and so on, and communicating with 5 different firms, I believe, and that'll save us a little time. And I'll get with Kevin this week and see if we can get something going there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Any other conversation regarding that? Nope.
I have
All right.
nothing else.
Any other old business before us? Moving on to new business, Banner Health. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
No, you're all right. So I'm Ingrid Long, here on behalf of Banner Health. Just for back history, in 2007, Banner financed the cost of certain capital projects up at Banner Torrington with the proceeds of a tax exempt bond. we're seeking to refinance that 2007 bond to produce debt saving service for Banner. We currently have a variable rate with rates resetting every quarter. This would allow us to seek fixed rate bonds. I'm here today for the approval of the commissioners, but it is being sought your approval for the purpose solely of satisfying the federal tax code that requires public approval of the locality of the project, of where the financing and refinancing of the project is occurring. So just want to note that neither the county nor the state of Wyoming has any obligation to respect of reimbursement or paying of this. So just certainly need to get approval for that federal tax code. And that is why I'm here today. Questions? We did have a resolution back in 2014 where the same presentation was brought to you. It was approved at that time, so we were just looking to mirror that 2014 resolution.
So what, I guess I'm a little confused, what's the, why does the commission need to approve that?
Under the federal tax code, when tax exempt bonds are being issued to finance or refinance facilities, the approval of the governing unit in the locality of which the facilities are located is required.
I see, I missed that part, okay. Mr. McNamee, you got any questions?
I do not. No, I would make a motion that that we approve, but without the language in front of me, I would want to make sure that that it reflects Ingrid's request and would basically mirror what was done and renew what was done in 2014.
Okay, and Mr. Walsh reading over the resolution right now.
Not knowing what the last resolution said, it's hard to, but this really doesn't show anything that we have in finding responsibilities or anything. It's just saying that we.
The county attorney also sent out an email stating the same, that it doesn't have any monetary commitment from you guys when you find it.
And I don't know what the last resolution said, but that's.
Mr. McNamee, the resolution is 2026-06. Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners, Goshen County, Wyoming, approving solely for the purposes of section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended, the issuance by the Industrial Development Authority of the County of Maricopa of the revenue bonds Banner held in one or more series from time to time to refinance capital projects for Torrington Community Hospital as set forth herein. So we have a motion to approve resolution 2026-06 from Mr. McNamee. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
There you go. Do we have a second?
I'm sorry, I had a phone
second.
call come in there.
All in
I'm
favor?
back now.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go. Motion, resolution 2026-06 has passed. We'll get these signatures and get them back to you.
Thank you.
Actually, we'll just keep the resolution and it'll go on our website.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Right, that is done. Renita.
Hello, thank you for taking the time to hear my mural project again. I've spoken with the owner of Buckaroo's, who is the auto shop next to the museum. with the new building, new museum building finishing up, hopefully sometime soon. Sarah Chair says that it will be this summer sometime. They've got the electrical in, but you know, there's still some finishing that needs to be done. I thought it would be nice if we could time the museum building opening with a mural contest, and I think the contest is a good idea, just to generate interest and activity. Then there's the park right next to Buckaroo's. It sits directly between the museum and the park, that a lot of time and effort has gone in to clean up the park over there. Make an event out of it. Throw a barbecue in there, museum opens, and I think the $2,800 that I'm asking for could be recaptured through commerce that it could generate. And so really it's an investment in your community. I believe you'll see a return on investment on this little project, $2,800. I know that there's all kinds of grants and everything that need to be lined up and applied for in the process. I would suggest not to wait on this project because it is affordable, it is a good investment, and according to your guidelines for the economic development, art is part of infrastructure. As I understand it, that the 307 gambling money is specifically for infrastructure. Well, your guidelines say that the murals are infrastructure. And that was the guidelines that I received from Leanne Mattis over at Economic Development.
So the guidelines you're referring to, are they economic development guidelines
I have it right here.
regarding infrastructure? Because we've never sent anything out saying
Okay.
what our guidelines for infrastructure are.
Okay, well, as Goshen County Economic Development, this is your Chamber of Commerce as well. On the second paragraph on the first page talking about it, it says, at its best, public art contributes to and celebrates an authentic sense of people and place. It is powerful in its ability to promote and portray community expression, identity, and stimulate dialogue. Public art breathes life into our local infrastructure and forms an atmosphere, creating a uniquely unforgettable feeling for those who live locally and those who only wish they did. So, I look at it from the perspective of having a privately owned property business working with federal funds. It's a private-public partnership is what I'm trying to develop. It's where we use public funds, private land or ownership, and do a collaborative effort to do something that benefits the community and creates tax dollars. Good return on investment. This mural project is the first step in an overall neighborhood improvement, which I spoke to you. This started out as kind of a neighborhood cleanup, neighborhood improvement, and this is what we got, is the mural project, and it's a perfect example between public-private partnership. It lets people see their tax dollars working for them, and it could be a good jumping off point for the South Torrington area because of its location, paved road, city wire, walking distance to downtown, and residences and businesses mixed together. But because that area is so impoverished, they need a leg up. And I would like you to consider doing something innovative and new that could be a model to be used throughout the nation. I mean, to take several facets of government entities, education, we've got the college, that's resources. We have private ownership, we've got 1 and 2 and 5 acre lots down there. That's an asset. The last thing I wanna see happen is for you to not deny every good idea out there and then do something like more low income housing. Ooh. Don't do that. That's a good area of town if you developed it right, using resources, public resources and private resources. I've looked at some of the grants, like the grant matching type of stuff, and I'll be looking into it closer with a team that I've built in South Torrington, so that it's just not me proposing these ideas. I have actually collaborated with business owners, and residents that live in the area, and they love the idea of the partnership. We need capital in that area, but we want it to benefit the community as a whole. Such as, like the bank-owned properties and stuff. Maybe there's a deal to be struck where they'll, let the property be, cleared of the trees, dead trees and debris. And I would never ask for money to put up something big and fancy and stuff because it's in a flood zone. Take some of those defunct properties, put up carports and porta potties, give the high schoolers and kids a little science kit, go out and do some water tests, and over them wood ticks that are out there, let's find out how many of them got Lyme disease. I'm just saying, for example, go in there, do some little science things, get an agreement from the property owner, utilize those defunct properties, for a small stipend or something, but have the public funds clear some of them to negotiate those deals and use education money. You could even use some health, like the gal that was talking about it, or health fair and stuff. Well, that can play into it too, but use these resources to take a great area town because of its location, because of its mix of business and residential. And this mural project is a stepping off point to do something every year. This year it's a mural. Next year I've got in mind that involves a lot of chainsaws and cut up them old defunct trailers and cut them frames up and get them out of there. Or talk to the metal place, maybe they want them. I know that those chassis for the old trailer houses, they're an inferior metal, so I don't know if they'll take them. I do know if you haul a trailer around, you gotta have all kinds of permits. But the mural project this year, I think is a win-win. Please fund this project.
I'm a little bit confused in the proposal. So you got economic development. Are you looking to apply to economic development to fund this?
They're
project?
trying to get some money for murals right now. They're trying to get funding for murals too. And it's a timely process. And yes, I will be applying for more grants, but I'm more on the idea of it as a step-by-step process to a whole model. It's a community model that I've built that will eventually sustain itself by generating an income.
Can I ask, what is the revenue stream that would sustain such a model?
I think that using buildings like the Riverside Church, why that building is set vacant for so long, I have no idea. I want to apply for grants that can provide funding for capital equipment. Throw any kind of capital equipment in the back of that Riverside Church. There's 8,000 square feet, all one level, 2 loading zones, and big double doors and tons of parking. I tried to get a business in there just a couple of months ago because it's ridiculous to leave those properties sit defunct. Go buy a wool machine that processes your wool. You got 100 head of sheep 3 blocks away. take those resources from the ground up to make marketable products. The hides that they, a lot of times small butchers will just throw the hides away. Well, tanning operation takes a lot of chemicals, but if you just do the curing of it, you're creating a marketable product, because those tanneries buy the cured hides at a higher price than just the raw hides that they ship overseas and have them process it and then sell it back to us. How hard could it be to make a leather belt? And those things are expensive, what, $35, $55? They're, you know. So that is the ultimate goal, but we want to clean it up. I'd like that mixed small business with residential that's thriving. Give them an area, and please throw up a few windbreaks. That's still on my thing. But you could get college students. You could get college students to come out and compete. Make them compete for the designs for a windbreak, because you've got to be able to calculate the ratio of the wind going through it. You put up a solid thing, it's going to blow over. Okay, so make them compete for designs. Have architecture students or whatever come in and bid those jobs. That way they're learning how to bid jobs, what it really takes dealing with the public that they're going to go out and have a career on. So it's not only going to be small business, it's going to be training centers for our kids in real time. And what this gives the unique opportunity to do is, you see these kids playing the game where they build their own communities and stuff like Sims or something like that. Do it in real life, real time, and get behind some of the funding while I pull my teams together and start applying for some grants. But taking it small with an under $3,000 mural contest that could very well see a return invested. It's not very much money. It's not much of a gamble, because it will generate some interest and some commerce. People will stop, they'll at the museum, they'll see the artwork there, they'll look at that, they'll walk down to the park, have lunch, buy lunch, and stay in our town. And especially with that being the entrance, one of the entrances to South Torrington, you know, that's gonna look a lot better. And I'm still after going to the main office in Scottsbluff for those windbreaks. And I reaching out to the college for somebody that can put a design to it. But it's the public-private partnership. Western Sugar working with the college students to get a design to put a couple of windbreaks on either side of that. Okay, it might be, it's their, the Western Sugar, their input is their property and the use of their property. Okay, the public, of course, is your money. And but to start building on this, it's a concept that if it takes off, could be very valuable throughout all rural communities or these defunct areas and stuff. Let's face it, the subsidized economy is failing us now. And having some underpinnings and some diversity in it. Another thing with AI coming online, and you know, not everybody can work in, you know, at an office desk or with AI losing jobs and stuff. We've got to get back to the fundamentals of, you know, seeing how neighborhoods are built, how products are built. Get those kids in and teach them how these businesses are run. And I think that because of its closeness to town, with the college right up here, we could be educating our kids in real time, in real situations, in diversified economy.
So Renee, I appreciate your ambition on this. I know you weren't here last meeting, but last meeting we had a discussion of how we're going to just do simple upkeep of county buildings. And if we were to fund something like that, even though it's a small amount, I think people are gonna be like, you're funding that, but you can't keep your sewer system up for the county courthouse.
But that's why I think the gambling money, I think the gambling money is a good option just to.
I think we we're kind of confused on some things.
Okay,
So the thing you're reading there is from economic development.
yes,
So that's a whole different thing. That's
Right,
not us.
right,
That's another office down the street. Those guys can point you in the direction of something. I honestly myself, putting government funds into a private industry is a horrible idea. I do not think that our tax money should be going towards anything of painting murals on buildings. We can't even keep our own doors open, partly with the infrastructure we have on the water, let alone putting murals on the side of other people's buildings. That's a private owned building. Why does government have to be funding that on a private building?
because if it generates interest.
What
it helps
income does it generate?
It'll hopefully generate tourism and.
The hope of generating income is great, that's phenomenal, but there's no guarantee in this. You say, well, people will see it stop. I highly doubt this.
Okay,
And that's why I just cannot be behind spending tax money, putting artwork on anybody's private building.
well, they used to pay for the same panels on the same building. People used to pay to put their advertising there,
That's perfect.
you know.
We're talking about two different things.
Two different things, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you had talked about making Torrington more appealing to businesses and stuff.
That's great. We're the Goshen County. We're the whole county, right? Torrington, there's a city of Torrington, there's a city council, one of our councilmen was just here. That'd be a good person to talk to if you want to improve the town of Torrington in some aspect.
Okay.
Or go economic development.
Well, South Torrington is the county.
Absolutely.
And we have talked to you about the defunct properties, the dead trees with all the wood ticks in them. And the trailers that I just listened to them here about having that easement on county roads 30 feet off of there, but yet the trailer's still sitting there right in a county easement. And you could say that there's absolutely no zoning and nothing to be done about it and stuff. I'm just here to clarify how firm you guys are on doing absolutely nothing, which could be an enhancement to the whole.
So we're talking about two different things. We're talking about the removal of trailer houses or vehicles or anything in a right of way, right?
Right.
So did he mention in his report anything about people parking in right of ways or farming against the right of way?
Oh,
Those
he
are
said
two-
farming, he said
absolutely.
farming, he said farming.
So that's the thing, is we're talking about two different things. So yes, if somebody was parking in that right of way, is there a problem with that in any aspect? If I pull a vehicle and park alongside my easement?
I've never lived
Is
in
that-
any city where you could park anything in a county easement, just in case.
It's also, we don't have zoning. It's not, okay, the city of Torrington has ordinance, okay, inside the city, we have ordinance. Those ordinance stop people from doing certain things within the city.
Mhm.
The county does not have a county ordinance.
And actually, that no zoning is a huge asset to do something different.
But we can't tell private citizens what trees they're gonna keep or whatever, we can't.
No, you get them to want to, and they want to, and they already want to.
Like enforcement, is that how we
No,
come to this?
no. Like I said, I mentioned giving incentives in a couple of times that I have talked to you. You've got to incentivize, you don't have to, but the best way to do it is to get them to voluntarily let these cleanup efforts happen, but they're going to want something out of it. There's got to be some incentive to it, and having funding from other government agencies, education primarily is the one that I'm looking for.
Well, the thing is we're not the education primary funding source here.
I think there are some organizations out there that would help do that, but Goshen County commissioners are not the group to.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that you guys don't have more interest in this, like I said, if you wanted to improve Torrington and commerce and tourism, which is what you guys said, then this under $3,000 project, $2,800 project, I think would do more than what you're giving it for. And it's just the first step in something that could be a model that is very effective. And yes, I see you hate the idea of public-private partnership,
100%.
absolutely hate it. And see, I just think that because small businesses have been crushed for the last couple of decades and stuff, they need a leg up. And I think people.
But injecting tax money into private industry does not leg up private industry. It's a welfare system for private industry. That is not successful.
No, because there's gotta be incentives for both sides. Okay, there's gotta be
The
incentives for
incentive
both.
is for private industry to do a good job at private industry. That's what incentivizes private industry to succeed.
Well, small businesses have been crushed. They need access to capital for capital equipment. You've gotta have some kind of capital equipment in order to really do anything.
But
And
I agree with you, but Goshen County Commissioners are not the funding model for those things. There are other federal programs, even state programs that will help with that.
Well,
We're
and
not that group for that.
okay, well, I have a lot of interest in with my team as far as approaching and applying for grants specifically to help clean up that neighborhood. I'd
Okay.
like to take it a step further and see if we can't start supporting or creating some small businesses that do cross with other funding.
Small businesses can be started with small business money. That's banks or other funding sources, not Goshen County money.
Well,
We're not gonna commingle that money with, that runs our county and takes care of our roads and our bridges and the health and security. That's what our main focus is here,
okay,
is health and security of our citizens. Not to incentivize business.
well, you shot down the health thing with the wood ticks, so I'm not sure where we're going with this. And I've been to the health department as well. And the benefit to you is if you start helping with some startups and stuff, who gets the tax dollars? Oh, you guys do, and that can be.
Well, the state gets 4%, we get 1%.
Well, true, but there is a benefit if there is a benefit when these type of structures, and let's face it, private sector has been depleted drastically, and applying for any kind of grant money or pursuing some kind of partnership, because small businesses, they need we need capital equipment. And when you start those businesses, it's where the tax dollars are generated from.
So I'm 100% for economic development, 100% for that, what you're talking about. But as presented today, I don't see the cost benefit to the county to do that.
To do the mural project.
No, I don't see it.
Well, strike one, but it doesn't mean that, more ideas can't come.
I agree.
And you've got some ideas, and just the approach and the where you're looking for money is the wrong spot.
Okay,
We're not here to write checks for private anything.
okay. Well, on to the next one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Up next is public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Did you lose private?
We did. We had jump on. Okay, see no public comment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
I would second. Meeting has been adjourned. Thank you all for coming today.